Hey, welcome back to our series, 30 Things I Have Learned in the Last 10 Years of Photography. And man, we are really coming into the home stretch. This is video number 25. I cannot believe it. If you've been hanging out with me for all 25 videos, thank you so much for watching. I hope that you have found them challenging. I hope that you have found them encouraging and inspiring and motivating too. All of those things. I really hope that they have been able to do that for you. In today's video, we're talking about a critical theme that piggybacks on what we talked about in our comparison video and not letting the work steal from your why. And that is defining what success looks like, because this looks different on everybody. It is very personal and it is very uniquely defined. Now, if you recall from a previous video, I talked about the dangers of the comparison trap. I shared a little bit more of my story and my journey with comparison and how if we're not careful, it can distract us. It can take us off of mission. And so in this video, that's why I want to take a deeper dive into what success looks like for everyone and how to define that. Because without this aspect, without truly understanding your why and your core motivators, well, that's whenever you fall right into the trap of comparison. It really is a trap. But even more importantly, this is something that I haven't talked about yet, is discouragement. Discouragement is the number one killer of dreams. It's discouragement that will come in before you know it, will take your feet out from under you. And you're probably like, wow, Melody, thanks so much for that visual. I'm not feeling discouraged at all. So now that I've shared like the negative in great detail, how about we talk about what happens when you truly understand your core motivators? Let's talk about that. Here's what happens. You become more confident, you live with purpose, you have clarity for the future, and you can make better decisions for your business. Now, I don't know about you, but that sounds pretty good to me, right? That's the life I want to live, not the other one where I'm constantly battling comparison and discouragement. I want to live life on purpose and with confidence. Okay, so the very first thing you have to do is understand your why. And some people are really great at articulating this and others are not. It's taken me a long time to get there myself, which is why it's a lesson I have learned over the last 10 years. These core motivators are the underlying reasons as to why you make the decisions that you do, where you invest your time, where you invest your money. So for me, my core motivator for starting a business was I wanted to make money working from home, not because we needed it, but because I wanted to be more generous with others and with my family. I wanted to be able to do more as a family, and it would also give me flexibility to be with my family, and it would give me a sense of fulfillment. It wasn't just about making money. But how do we use our whys to define success? Now, the experts will tell you you need to have metrics to measure your success. But I'll be honest, this is something that I always struggled with, because I don't know if you noticed, but my why is very internally motivated. It's more about feeling than accomplishing. I'm not easily motivated by external rewards. And this, to be honest, has been very challenging for myself to create goals and success metrics. This is honestly an ongoing conversation I've had with my husband. As you know, when he worked in corporate America, this is what he did. He helped people set goals. He used metrics to measure their success. And I just could not wrap my mind around it because my motivators, my core motivators I was so internally motivated. So what I have realized, though, is that while I'm not inclined to external motivators, I actually need them in order to measure what success looks like. Here is how combining the two has helped me. This is how it's played out for me. One of my whys is to be more generous. That's pretty broad, right? I mean, you can be generous in any number of ways, but it is supposed to be broad. These goals are usually broad. They're big goals that we can then break down into smaller, more achievable goals. So here's what that looks like. Okay, so the goal is generosity. I want to be generous. What does that look like? I want to be able to give financially. I want to be financially generous. Okay, well, what does that look like? How much do I want to be able to give annually? Say I want to be able to give $5,000 annually. Now I need to know, well, how much income do I need in order to achieve that? And how much work do I need to make that happen? So do you see how we kind of start broad with this goal of being generous, and I've kind of broken it down into what that actually looks like in actionable steps. And so another example of this playing out for me is doing more with my family. Well, what does that mean? What does doing more with your family mean? Because that looks different for everybody, right? For me, it's being able to homeschool our boys and to be able to take annual family vacations. That's so important to me, to go on trips and give them those experiences, more so than having materialistic things in my house. Like, we could have updated our kitchen multiple times over at this point, but we've chosen to invest in those experiences instead, because that quality time to me is more important than having a nicer kitchen. So do you see how it's like helped me to balance, helped me to make those decisions? Okay, so then I need to know, well, what kind of flexibility do I need in order to homeschool my boys? And what kind of flexibility do I need to go on vacation? What kind of income level do I need to achieve? And how much work do I need in order to achieve it? And I've really had to dig in, you guys, and learn how to marry the internal with the external, because it's the external ones that really help me meet the internal goals that I have. So I gave you one way how these motivators help me make decisions. Like, whenever it comes to where we spend our money, do we get a kitchen or do we go on vacation? For me, vacations are more important. Another way that this is played out in photography specifically is when I first started out in business, everybody was doing wedding photography. Like, that is what you did. I went to wedding photography workshops. Food photography was not really a thing. It was wedding photography. That's where you made the money. Okay, so that's what you did. Now, I love photography, but I do photography so that I can have flexibility and time with my family. Photography is not my core motivator. Time with my family is. Because I knew what my core motivator was, I was able to let weddings go confidently and not feel bad about it, and not say, well, they're great and they're successful because they do weddings and I don't. I was able to use my core motivator and make the best decision for me. So do you see how it plays out? It plays out in helping you set goals, and it plays out in helping you make decisions for your business and decisions for your family. Because these are identified, I'm too busy meeting my own goals. I am too busy spending time with my family to worry about how somebody else is spending their time and spending their money. Now, this is not a process that happens overnight. This is one that is cultivated over time. And when you start to cultivate a life that you love, well, that's when you know you are successful. That's when you've hit your definition of success. But if you are not living a life that you love and you hate certain things happening, or your job, or whatever it is, then your actions are misaligned with your core values, with your core motivators, and it's time to reevaluate. Okay, so disclaimer, we gotta talk about this, because I wanna make sure I don't paint a picture for you that's once you have your goals and once you know your core motivators, you don't ever struggle with comparison, or you don't ever struggle with discouragement, because we're human and those things can happen. But now, the difference when you know your core motivators is that you have something to fall back on. You have something to shift your focus to. You are now equipped on how to handle those situations when they arise. And so it won't matter what's going on around you, and it won't matter what everybody else is doing, but you know you are on the right track and you are making the best decisions for you. So let's take some time and actually talk about core motivators. You know mine. What are your core motivators? What are your core motivators for learning photography? Whether you are diving into portrait photography, or you are starting a journey in food photography, or you are already an established photographer doing this, right? Tell me what your core motivators are in the comments. I can't wait to read them. I'll see you guys in the next video.